Hey, how's everybody doing? Quincy here with Whiplash RC, and today I'm starting a new series called On the Bench. This series is going to consist of things like today I'm going to do a repair. I can show off some of my rigs, talk about new products that are coming in, some of the things we're building. Rachel likes to build scale tow ropes and starting to build scale accessories. Lately she's been working on clothing some of my scale drivers. But for the first episode today, I'm going to be repairing a 1/10 scale worn winch. I'm not really sure what's wrong with it, but I only used it one time. I was out with it once, and on the second attempt, it stopped working properly. So, tough luck maybe, but I had another one on my SCX-10-2 XJ, which I brought with me to the Recon G6 in Michigan, and it survived the whole thing. So I still have faith in the winch. Hopefully with this new motor, I bought a new motor from RC4WD drive. It only cost me about $10, so hopefully I can switch that and the winch will work perfectly fine again. So let's get behind me and see what we got going on. Okay, so here's the winch I'm working with today. As you can see, I already have it off the truck. First thing I did, I was screwing around the other day. I took the hook off. Basically, it's just here's the hook. This pin goes through here, but the rope would be in the middle, through there. And it has a tiny cotter pin, which I just dropped. Goes through and you bend it, holds the pin in. So I was messing around with that to get that off because it was a pain. And you have to get the hook off to be able to slide it through the fair lead. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with the winch yet, but we're going to get it apart here and find out. Here's the new motor I have, which only cost me $10. See, inside the gears are very, very small. I'll link everything in the description when I'm finished, the winch and the motor, the replacement motor and whatnot. So let's get this winch apart and find out what's wrong. I am yet to take one of these apart, but it seems fairly easy. First thing you're going to want to do is remove the 4 screws from the plate mount. And then there's 4 screws on the back. And they're also 1/5 mil. Excuse the mess on the bench. I got some other things going on right now. It's actually a lot cleaner than usual. Okay, 4 screws out of there. One of them's actually smaller, so you gotta watch that when you're putting it back together. Case comes apart like so. Don't want to lose anything. The wires are twisted so it won't slide. There we go. Just like that. That just pops out of there. And because I took the hook off, I should be able to just pull this through. Yeah, there. That way I didn't have to take the 2 screws off to get the fair lead off. Saves me a little step. Next thing I'm going to want to do, pop that bearing off. Oh, you got to unwind the winch cable. There's a grub screw in here holding this on. So looking at this motor, it doesn't look bad. It actually looks in fairly good condition, those tiny gears. But I'm gonna switch it anyway and see. Oh. Now that I play with the shaft on that, it's got a lot of play in it compared to this one. I was just checking that. This one has no play at all. You can see there. Probably hard to see on camera, but that one doesn't move. This one, I get like a solid turn out of it. So I'm gonna have to change it. Try it anyways. I mean, for 10 bucks, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Just gotta grab my Phillips screwdriver. This might work. So, what I've come up with here is that instead of unsoldering this, it would be a lot easier if I just remove these two screws and switch out the gearbox. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Alrighty, so I found the screwdriver I was looking for. This fella right here. I knew I had the right size. Now I'm just gonna finish switching the gearbox. I was surprised when it came off. I thought all these gears were gonna slide right off the shaft here, but it all comes off in one piece, which is nice. Okay, so again, I'm trying to make sure that I'm putting this on the same way I took the bad one off the good motor. Mind you, both motors are good. So I have everything identical. Slide that back in there. And I'll hold on to the other motor, possibly even this gearbox, and just write down that it's bad. That way I know, I'm assuming some of the gears in it might still be okay, in case I happen to do the same thing again. Or if the motor happens to blow, I can put this back on the other motor and solder it on instead. And like I said, I have another one of these winches too, so extra parts is always good. Wow. even after installing it on this motor, still very little play. So I think that's gonna fix my problem. Only one way to find out. I guess we'll get everything back together and figure it out. So feed this cable back in. Should put the spool back on before I run out of room to do that. Just gonna put a little bit of thread lock on the grub screw so the spool of thread or winch cable doesn't come off. Make sure that you put it on the flat spot, the flat spot on the shaft coming out of the gearbox there. Just gonna wind the cable back up so it doesn't get in my way. Back and forth. Now I can feed this back in. Can't forget the bearing. Slide the line back through the fair lead. Come on. There we go. Nice and tight. I can always fix that later. Put these small cap head screws back in first. First I'll put the cap on my thread lock before it leaks everywhere. Make sure it's all tight. I'm going to put this one back together, even though there's play in the gearbox, just so I don't lose everything. Get it out of my way. Now I'm going to put the plate back on. Pretty straightforward. Just line up the holes.
out the screws.
See, that was easier than breaking out the soldering kit and switching the motors and everything anyways. As long as that fixes my problem, then I'll be happy with that. So I'm gonna get it all hooked up and come back and let you know if it worked. Alright, so it's been about a day since I stopped recording last night. I plugged in the winch and everything and found out that my 9-volt battery ran out of juice, so I was turning it on and I could hear the motor fighting to get enough power. So this morning I went out and got a brand new 9-volt battery, and I've already tried it out. It works great. I fiddled around with the hook. I used the same cotter pin that I was kind of hoping that I didn't have to use, but I just tied everything back together with a fisherman's knot that's holding the hook on, and I'll just show you. Oh, tighten it up. There you go. It works good. I'm happy with that. That's a cheap $10 fix for this winch. As long as it lasts this time, I won't have any issues with it. Like I said before, I ran another winch in a G6 and it was fine. So if you have any questions about the winch or anything, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Take care.